Okay, so thank you first for the invitation. So I will review some aspects of the kinetic theory of stellar systems and plasmas. I will not talk about galactic centers. I will present general kinetic equations for self-gravitating systems. But Christophe Pichon, in his next talk, will consider application of this general formalism to different astrophysical systems, including galactic centers. So let us consider an isolated system of n stars in Newtonian gravitational interaction. And in this talk, I will assume for simplicity that all the stars have the same mass, but of course, it's possible to generalize the kinetic theory to a system of different mass. So we know that their dynamics is fully described by the Hamilton equation that I have recalled here. So a possible starting point for the kinetic theory is the Liouville equation, which governs the temporal evolution of the n-body distribution function. So the Liouville equation bears it's an exact equation, and it bears exactly the same content as the Hamiltonian system here. So of course, the n-body distribution function contains too much information. In general, we are not interested by the n-body distribution function, but by reduced distribution function. In particular, what we would like to get is a closed kinetic equation for the one-body distribution function. So this is the topic of this talk. So the procedure is now well known. It's possible to write down a hierarchy of equations for the reduced distribution function. So this is the so-called BBJKY hierarchy that was introduced in particular by Bogoliubov in plasma physics. And it was also applied by Gilbert for self-gravitating systems. So we know that this hierarchy of equations is not closed in general, but for stellar system, we can close it by considering an expansion in terms of a small parameter, which is the inverse of the number of stars in the system. Because in a galaxy or in a globular cluster, the number of stars is large. So 1 over n is an epsilon parameter, and we can close the BBJKY hierarchy by considering an expansion in terms of this small parameter. So at the order 1 over n, it's possible to show that we can neglect free-body encounters or free-body collisions. And in that case, we are led to two coupled but closed differential equations. So the first one is an equation for the one-body distribution function f, which depends on the two-body correlation function, which takes into account collisions or encounters between stars. And then we have an equation for the two-body correlation function g, which depends on g itself, and which also depends on the one-body distribution function f. And these two equations are closed. So we can identify in this equation three important terms. So this term here takes into account strong collisions that are important at small scales, so for small impact parameter, and they lead to strong deflection, a strong bending of the trajectory of the particles. This term takes into account weak encounters between stars. And finally, this term, which is an integral term, takes into account what we call collective effect. And I will give a physical meaning of these terms in the next slides. So these two equations are exact at the order 1 over n. So they form the right basis to develop the kinetic theory of stellar systems at this order of approximation. So let us first consider the limit when the number of particles goes to infinity. So in that case, we can neglect collisions or correlations between stars. So we can neglect the two-body correlation function. And we get a mean field equation, which is called the Vlasov equation. So it was introduced by Vlasov in 1938 in plasma physics. But actually, it was introduced by Jeans in 1915 for self-gravitating systems. And it describes the collisionless evolution of stellar systems. So it's also called the collisionless Boltzmann equation. So the Vlasov equation is very simple to write down, but actually it's a very complicated and very tricky equation, because in particular it can experience a process of collisionless violent relaxation towards a quasi-stationary state, as described, for example, by Lyndon Bell in 1968. And this process is still not fully understood, and in particular it's difficult to predict in general the quasi-stationary state achieved by the system for any given initial condition. But in this talk, I will not consider the Vlasov equation. What we would like to do is to go beyond the Vlasov equation and take into account the effect of encounters between stars. So if, for simplicity, we neglect in the first step strong collisions and collective effects, we can rewrite the first two equations of the BBJKY hierarchy symbolically like that. So we have an equation for the one-body distribution function f with an advection, a mean field advection operator, which is the Vlasov term, and a collision term, which depends on the two-body correlation function. And then we have an equation for the two-body correlation function with a mean field advection term, which is a sort of Liouvillean, and a source term due to the distribution function. So this equation formally is just the first-order differential equation in time. So it can be solved formally with the method of the variation of the constant by introducing a green function associated with this Liouvillean. So we can express the two-body correlation function in terms of the one-body distribution function, substitute in the first equation of the BBJKY hierarchy, and get a closed kinetic equation for the distribution function f. So this formal equation is written like that. And it's a complicated equation because, in the general case, because in order to compute these integrals, we have to move the particles, or the stars, between t and t minus tau according to the mean field trajectories given at the leading order by the Vlasov equation. And for a general stellar system that are spatially inhomogeneous, the trajectories of the stars are relatively complicated. So this is why this makes this equation complicated. So this equation is not very useful for practical application, but it's interesting for pedagogical purpose because we can see that it has the form of a generalized Fokker-Planck equation with a diffusion term, which corresponds to this first term, and a friction term, which corresponds to this second term. And we can see also that the diffusion coefficient, or the diffusion tensor, is given by the time integral of the force autocorrelation at time t and t minus tau, weighted by the distribution function f. And the friction force is given by the time integral of the autocorrelation of the force between time t and time t minus tau, weighted by the velocity gradient of the distribution function f. And this can be seen as generalized Kubo formula in statistical mechanics. So if, for simplicity, we consider homogeneous system, like in the case of plasmas, or if we make what we call the local approximation for stellar system, in that case, the mean field trajectories become very simple because the mean field force acting on a star is equal to 0. So the particle just have rectilinear motion with constant velocity. So the orbits at leading order are just that, so they are very simple. And in that case, it's possible to compute explicitly these integrals, and we can simplify this equation. And we get what we call the Landau equation, although it is not exactly given by this form. I will come back in the next slide. So we have an explicit collision operator in that case. And this operator has the following properties. There is first this symmetric kernel, and from the symmetry of this operator, we can show the conservation laws and establish the H theorem for the Boltzmann equation. There is also this term, which is the Fourier transform of the potential of interaction. So for plasma and self-gravitating system, this is 1 over k squared. And finally, there is this important term, this delta function, which encapsulates a condition of resonance. And this is a very general result. We will see the same for more sophisticated kinetic equation. The collisional evolution of system is due to a condition of resonance in this delta function. And in the case of homogeneous system, it takes this relatively simple form. So now for homogeneous system, for this equation, it's actually possible to perform the integral over k. And we get another form of the Landau equation, which is actually the one originally derived by Landau in 1936, although he proceeded in a completely different manner. He started from the Boltzmann equation and expanded the Boltzmann equation for small deflections. and he got this expression. And what is important in this expression is that it shows a problem in the Landau approach, in the sense that we see that the collision term or collision operator presents a logarithmic divergence at both small and large scales. The divergence at small scales is due to the neglect of strong collisions that we have made previously, and it can be regularized by taking these strong collisions into account, so by taking into account the bending of the trajectories for small impact parameters. So this divergence at small scales can be cured by generalizing the theory, like as was done by in the early works of Chandra-Sekhar, or by using a treatment à la Boltzmann, which takes into account strong deflections. And the divergence at large scales has a different origin in plasma and stellar systems. In the case of plasma that are spatially homogeneous, it is due to the neglect of collective effects in the previous calculations. And it can be regularized heuristically, this is how Landau did, by introducing a cutoff at the Debye scale, which corresponds to the screening of the interaction, but it's heuristic. And in the case of stellar system, the divergence at large scale is not due to the neglect of collective effect, but it is due to our assumption that the system is homogeneous, or to the local approximation that we have made, and it can be cured heuristically by introducing a cutoff at the gene scale, which gives a typical size of the system. Okay. So, but of course, introducing this cutoff in an ad hoc manner is not satisfactory. So people try to improve the kinetic theory to go beyond this limitation. So in the case of plasma, Lénard and Balescu in the 1960s managed to take into account collective effects in the equation, and they obtained a generalization of the Landau equation, which is the Lénard-Balescu equation, which is written here. And we see that it is very similar to the Landau equation, except that the bare potential of interaction, U, is replaced by a dressed potential of interaction, U divided by epsilon, where epsilon is the dielectric function, which appears in connection with the linearized Vlasov equation, and which takes collective effects into account. And you see that the dielectric function depends on the distribution function itself, so this adds an additional nonlinearity in this equation. And the Landau equation is recovered when we take this equal to 1. So to understand the physical meaning of the dielectric function, it is useful to do what we call the Debye-Huckel approximation in plasma physics. So we shall evaluate qualitatively this term for small velocity, or even for a particle at rest with zero velocity. And we will compute this term by assuming that F is given by its equilibrium value, so by the Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution. So if we do that, we find that the bare potential of interaction, 1 over k square, is replaced by a dressed potential of interaction, which is the Debye-Huckel potential, which is now 1 over k square plus kd square, where kd is the Debye wave number. So if we come back to physical space, it means that the 1 over r square interaction is now screened with an exponential factor on a distance corresponding to the Debye length. And you see now that if we compute the Coulombian logarithm, there is no divergence at large scale anymore. So taking into account collective effects, Debye shielding solves the large scale divergence that we had in the Landau equation. So we could think to do the same in the case of stellar systems. Oh,
can you explain physically how do you get the screening in gravity?
So there's no screening in gravity. That's the next thing. So this is for plasma. So for plasma, we have the screening. But if we do the same for stellar systems, so in gravity, precisely we have something quite different. Now, instead of having this, we have 1 over k square minus kj square, where kj is the Jeans wave number, and the minus sign comes from the fact that the gravitational force is attractive instead of repulsive for the electrostatic force. So now we have a divergence that is even worse than before. Instead of being just logarithmic, now it's algebraic. So it shows that the divergence that we have at large scale for stellar system is not due to the neglect of collective effects, but it's due, as I said before, to the fact that we assume the system to be spatially homogeneous. But what this little calculation shows is that collective effects for self-gravitating system will have the tendency to increase the diffusion coefficient or to decrease the relaxation time. So to boost the relaxation, because it will, in a sense, correspond to an anti-shielding. A particle will have the tendency to be surrounded by other particles, so its mass will increase, and this will boost the relaxation. And this boosting can be shown explicitly in the case of a stellar disk, where it's possible to take collective effects into account. So this was shown in the paper by Jean-Baptiste Fouvry and collaborators, and Christophe Pichon will talk about that in the next talk. So if we want to describe self-gravitating system with kinetic theory, we have to take into account spatial inhomogeneity in the system. So in principle, we have to come back to this more complicated equation. But as I said before, the difficulty is that we have to move the particle according to the mean field trajectories, which in the case of inhomogeneous stellar systems can be quite complicated. So fortunately, we can use a trick, which is to use angle action variables. So first we make an adiabatic approximation. We assume that the system has reached a quasi-stationary state as a result of violent relaxation. And then we describe the system in terms of angle action variables, because in these variables, the equation of motion become relatively simple, and they are similar to linear trajectories in the case of homogeneous systems. So with angle action variable, it's actually possible to perform these integrals, and we can get a generalization of the Landau equation valid for inhomogeneous systems, which takes this form. So this equation is similar to the usual Landau equation. There is this symmetric kernel. There is this term, which is the Fourier transform of the potential of interaction in action space. And there is, again, this delta function expressing a condition of resonance leading to a collisional evolution. And in the case of inhomogeneous system, the condition of resonance is more complicated than before, and it involves the pulsation of the frequencies of the orbits with the action G. So this condition of resonance appeared in early work by Lynden-Bell and Kalnage, Treymen and Weinberg, Roche and Treymen, and it corresponds to the concept of resonant relaxation, and it's an important ingredient in this kinetic equation describing the collisional evolution of inhomogeneous systems. It's even possible to take into account collective effects at the price of more complicated calculation, and in that case we get a generalization of the Lénard-Balescu equation for inhomogeneous system, in which the bare potential of interaction that we had before is now replaced by a dressed potential of interaction, like for homogeneous system, involving a dielectric function given by this expression, which is itself expressible in terms of the elements of a biorthogonal basis as introduced by Kalnage and Weinberg in connection with the linearized Vlasov equation. So this inhomogeneous Lénard-Balescu equation is the most refined kinetic equation of stellar systems that we have, because it's basically exact at the order 1/n. It fully takes into account the spatial inhomogeneity of the system, and it also takes into account collective effects, so a form of anti-shielding or the dressing of the particles by their polarization cloud. So can I continue a little more? Just 1 minute? Okay, so I just give the idea. So far I have described the evolution of the system as a whole. So all the particles were treated on the same footing. All the stars were equivalent in a sense. But in kinetic theory, there is another interesting problem, which is the test particle approach, in which we focus on a particular particle, a test star, and we consider its evolution in a cloud of field stars that is supposed to be in a steady state. And it can be shown that the evolution of the test particle, so this can be shown rigorously by a detailed calculation, that the evolution of the test particle is given by a Fokker-Planck equation, and we can obtain immediately this Fokker-Planck equation from the Lenard-Balescu equation by replacing the distribution, the time-dependent distribution of the field particle by their static distribution, and calling P instead of F the distribution of the test particle not to confuse with the field particles. So we can get this equation, which can be derived also from direct calculation of the coefficients of diffusion and drift. And so I will not detail it, but we can show that this equation has the form of a Fokker-Planck equation, or maybe modified depending on the form we give, involving a diffusion tensor and a friction force. So I will not discuss the distinction between the friction by polarization and the true friction force. I just mentioned that in the case of homogeneous system, we recover the results of Hubbard in plasma physics. And if we make a thermal bath approximation, so if we assume that the field particles are at statistical equilibrium, again, we can simplify this Fokker-Planck equation, and for homogeneous system, and if in addition we neglect collective effects, we can recover from this formalism all the previous results, in particular the seminal results of Chandrasekhar and Rosenbluth and collaborators. So just to conclude, so I would like to mention that, so now we have a formalism to treat the secular evolution of self-gravitating system without any approximation, because it's exact at the order 1/n, taking into account spatial inhomogeneity and collective effects. So it can be applied, this formalism can be applied to a great diversity of situations. So I just give one reference for the general formalism. So this paper, which contains all the previous references on the subject and which presents the basic equations. And for astrophysical application, I refer to the paper of Jean-Baptiste Fouvry and collaborators and to the paper of Sridhar and Tuma. And Christophe Pichon in the next talk will show applications of this formalism. Thank you.